Welcome, Dumelang, Amogela to Gogo's Couch. Right? No. Still GMTV, and I'm still your host with the most, Moyo. Welcome again. Today we're talking about something that is very consuming of one's life, especially when you feel like you haven't done the most of the things that you wanted to do, and you really judging yourself when it comes to this, and that is living a life with regrets. Today we're going to be chopping all of that up. I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that people struggle with. I am also going to teach you how it is to navigate your life when it comes to trying to live a life with no regrets. And before you find yourself filled and riddled with regret, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on the cool and exciting videos that we have in store for you. Thank you to all the subscribers that I have currently, and that is 29,000 of you. Boo, 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 boo. And to all those that are new to the channel, help us reach our standing goal of 32,000 since I turned 32. So that's a gift that you can have sent to me and show love to the content that we share with you guys. And again, don't forget to hit that subscription button so that you don't miss out on any of the exciting things that we have in store for you. Now, let's get to the chunk of what's actually going on today. Oh, guys, regret. There's nothing worse than living a life with regret. Like, absolutely nothing. It could consume you. And did you know, actually, that people regret the things they didn't do more than the things that they did do? Go figure. So imagine if you're going to live a very safe life all your life and always choose to do the lesser or the smaller version or the safer version, whereas you don't even know where your blow up is going to happen, your success is going to be triggered by, where you're going to meet the love of your life, or whatever it is, where you're going to actually make your most profound spiritual awakening. You won't know because we're filled with fear and we're riddled with all these things like I get happy, I don't trust the process, I don't even know who my guides are. Like, Gogo makes it seem so easy, but how the hell does she do it? One thing I can tell you, I have less regrets than you because I'm doing it. I'm not doing it in the most perfect way, I'm doing it in the most honest way. And I've put my intention to the things that I do. So to me, I'm trying to help myself not live a life of regrets. I could have stopped doing these videos years ago because of the feedback I get. And it varies, guys. It's like, yo, ma, you're doing amazing. And then there's like, yo, loco corona, like, we are slaza, like, and like, who does she think she is? So it varies. But I can't necessarily live my life because of how people perceive me. Like, yo, I don't even think about y'all, guys. So if I want to achieve my goals, I have to stick to my narrative. And my narrative says I talk a lot, I want to educate, I want to do it in a very candid approach, I want to do it in my way, my vibe, dressed in whatever that is representing of me. So in all of that, it has nothing to do with other people all the time because you can't influence me to that degree. And if I didn't do it, I'd have regret because I've got all this energy, all this wisdom, all this knowledge that I always want to share. And part of me being a gifted child is, one of my gifts is you, ma, are a teacher. You are an educator. You are someone who is an enabler and an empowering tool towards someone else. If I don't live my purpose, I'm going to live with regret. I want to tell you about a lady who did a study on people who were sent to like a hospice, an old age home. And this is a person who just loved working with old people, and people who are on their dying beds. And she literally interviewed and surveyed a whole bunch of the people that she actually got to see. And she narrowed it down to the top 5 things that are known as regrets by people who are on their dying beds. These are people that are literally quarterly checking out, and this is what they had to say when they were asked. I wish I hadn't worked so much. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends, really. I wish I let myself be happier. I wish I had the courage to live life true to myself and not the life expected of me. Can you imagine how sad of a situation that is for someone who's passing? They are stuck in moments that they feel that if I had done this, if I had called that friend of mine and we patched things up and we talked about the incident and we talked about that day, I would have gained my friend back because I adored my friend. I lost a brother, if anything. And what more if you're in a relationship and you are being met by a challenge of not being, let's say, socially or economically or spiritually even as enlightened as your partner, your suitor is. But this person literally sees magic in you. They see the light that you don't even see. And they try to date you and help you realize the beauty about yourself, provide options of how you can actually connect, get better, make more money, just, to help you build your confidence, because that's really what it is. You're just lagging on that. Otherwise, you're a magnificently beautiful person. And then you fail to see that. And then one thing happens and another thing happens and another thing happens. And in all of that, you realize that I've actually been self-sabotaging because, seems like it's a bit easier to stay down and not to come up and help myself. And that's regret in itself. Eventually you lose that partner because they love you, yes, but they cannot love you. They cannot love themselves on your behalf. That's still a you job. That's still a you thing to do. And with love, it comes on so many levels. It comes with recognizing that person's soul, knowing how to treat them, knowing how to talk to them, knowing what matters to them, knowing how you can add, significantly to the quality of life that they share with you. It's on so many levels. And imagine losing the love of your life based on that. And sometimes you don't get a second chance at that love, And imagine someone who has always been like that brainiac child. Whenever they saw numbers, it was no longer just data, it became facts. They knew what to do with it. Their mind ran into overdrive. They could literally make magic come from nothing, from all this chaotic mess. But that person never pursued accountancy or computer engineering in the sense of knowing how to work with data and analytics. That person was never able to understand algorithms or even invest in themselves to go into such spaces or become a scientist or a mathematician. That person would largely, I could say they'd even go on the brink of madness because all that brain power is sitting there. It's got that energy. It wants to churn numbers. It wants to turn it into equations and graphs and whatever their representation would have been. But they didn't. That person would not thrive in their spirit. They would not thrive in their lives. They would not even thrive in their immediate family lives because that part of them was unfulfilled. What now when you have a series of dreams or a series of conversations and confirmations actually that you have with other spiritually minded people who talk to you about the details of your spiritual journey, but your fear is literally got you by the jaw and your throat and you're choking on this piece of information because it's a lot. We can't take that away, that it's a lot. But what do you do with it? Do you journal? Do you follow up on it? Do you actually attempt to go try to figure out what these people are talking about? Because ultimately time moves. Time moves, things change, you change, and what you took for granted that would be there tomorrow is no longer there. Now, what you had as a leverage point, as a starting point, and a great starting point is now literally gone. Your start is now a lot harder than what it could have been. I need for everyone watching today, young or old, enlightened or not, whatever you feel that you are and you classify yourself as, I need you to wake up to yourself. Life is already short as it is. It's short in the sense of health. You could be well today and sick tomorrow with a disease that has never been seen before, that needs to run millions of tests, and basically you're the first specimen of that disease ever happening, corona, right? An example of something so we feel like it's what the hell was that even about? What was that? But until it came into the time and existence and an era that you were born in, would you account for it? Would you know what to do with it? So on a health perspective, life is short. On a life perspective, life is very long. It's a whole journey to it. So don't try and force to do everything in one go. Pace yourself, but you have to know what you're doing. Create a bucket list for yourself where you are going to write down the tasks or the goals that you want to achieve for yourself. Be realistic, be crazy, be adventurous. Everything is possible until it's proved impossible. No one person can come tell you that that's impossible. Your capacity of genius that you have within you, within your bloodline, within your heritage, says that you are born of gods and queens and kings and goddesses. You are born of a lineage full of people that were powerful beyond even imagination. We had to come with our words and our terms to really put a tag next to whatever miraculous thing your people were able to do. They were independent of what the world expected of them or what the world said of them. They remained as regal as they ever were. So you already have that within your DNA. You have that within your bloodline. Don't step down from the podium because you feel that perhaps you are inadequate. Be yourself. Connect with people on a real level. Have fun. Be intentional. Never stop learning. Literally engage with every single thing that comes into contact with you. If a child wants to come say hi, engage that child. Whether you've got kids or not, or you've never been exposed to kids, acknowledge that spirit coming to recognize yours. Be healthy. Do it for yourself. Go for it. Travel. Don't hold grudges. These are just about a few of things that we can do on a daily basis and in our lives for us to activate the truth of who we are. I'm trying to think of a regret that I have. My regret usually is not being loud enough because I know I've got the potential to be intergalactic. I know I'm a world star. I'm not just a South African YouTuber. I'm a world star. And it's the relationship I keep with myself and my brain and my heart and my self-value and my self-worth and the struggles with depression and anxiety, all of that in the mix, and not being able to be dedicated to a great and strong and consistent exercise regime. All of those things take away from me. Sometimes you don't realize the impact. But when you do it, you realize the up that you have since you started doing it. And I could say that's the one regret I have, is not being loud enough. And loud, not in the way that I'm arrogant or I go around feeding people information they never asked for, but loud in the sense that I put a mirror of myself up all the time and I'm happy to see what I get back and the true version of myself. I'd like to ask you today, what regret do you have? You don't have to even list a whole bunch of them. If you want to, there can be an exercise that you do. Sit down with yourself and journal. Write down the things that are important to you and the things that you feel that you have a regret. You still have breath in you, meaning you can attempt at it. Don't forget, half of the regrets and most of the regrets that people have are of things they didn't do. Your opportunity is now. Your realization is now. I'm holding space for you in this particular conversation to realize that if there was something that you needed to go mend, something that you needed to go do, something that you needed that still needs your input, this is the time for you to get up, clean yourself up, look all dolled up, look pretty, look refreshed, drink some water, hydrate, take care of yourself, and get a plan going and get to it. No one is going to fight your battles for you. No one is going to come call you out of the dungeon that you've placed yourself in. Yo, bitch, there's an opportunity. Everybody's hungry. Everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants to be great. So not many people are going to stop to do that for you. You need to do it for yourself. And part of that is starting to live your life without regrets. Today, let's not take any more moments for granted. Look forward in hope and not backwards in regret. I hope this episode found its way into your heart and specifically touched the right people who needed it. I wish you a life that is full of your truth, full of your passion, and full of your truest light. Don't feel like you have to dim anything about you. What you feel may be a negative trait could necessarily be something that could be what makes you come out into the world as a sensation. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and that was me on the topic of regrets. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, if you would like to donate to the channel, please go on and click the link below, and you can literally donate any amount that you would like to help us change and switch up our lives when it comes to the studio, and to please help me pay for my studio help. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thokozani.